December 2017, I created the first edition of the Top 10 Sounds in Rocket League. A lot has changed since then. The Rocket Pass was added, I reached my ultimate goal of becoming the highest rank in the game, Grand Champion, a few weeks before they created a new rank above it, and a lot of new items have been added too. So I thought it would be worth taking another look at the top sounds in Rocket League that have come out since December 2017. In 10th place, we have one of our newest additions, the Hades Bomb Goal Explosion. Hades Bomb starts off with a quick 1-2 punch when the ball first hits the goal, giving it a little, almost imperceptible sense of anticipation before it hits you with a nice pulsy blast. Each element of the sound is clearly defined with a deep thunderous explosion in the lows, combined with a very clean high end containing smooth, evolving contours, which does well to capture the circular movement of the wind. Number 9 is the Season 11 Reward Boost. There are always two main parts to the boosts, the initial button press and then the looping sounds that go on as long as you hold it down. Because you're often feathering the boost, the sound of the initial press tends to be the most important. Season 11 Boost has a very low, punchy, satisfying thrust, and I find that its quick attack and release actually makes me feel a little bit faster. Champ and Grand Champ are appropriately the best sounding, and you can even make a song with them. Super Megabolt goes down smooth, producing a liquidy, swirly burst. The button press has a satisfying chirp, and when it's held down it has a very soft and subdued flavor. I think the sound also captures the spiral shape of the boost quite well. Whenever I can't think of a boost to use, Super Megabolt is my go-to. It really is just reliably pleasant sounding. Coming in at number 7, we have Heatseeker Ball Impacts. Heatseeker Ball Impacts don't just end as soon as contact is made with the ball, but they create a trail of randomized glitch sounds. It's hard to tell, but I would be curious to know if the sound was affected by any parameters like the velocity of the ball. Either way, it has a very satisfying resonant whir as the ball flies away from you that's always a little bit different each time. I feel like Christmas Lights maybe didn't get its deserved recognition when it was released as one of the Christmas items in 2019, but it quickly became one of my favorite sounding boosts. The frequencies used are very pleasing to the ears. There's a tinkly component that has a nice sense of movement to it, which conveys the jingliness of both actual jingle bells and the Christmas lights that you see. The only problem is that I can only use it for 1 month a year, because I wouldn't want to be one of those players that uses Christmas items all year round. For number 4, we have Quasar 3 from Rocket Pass 2. It's been around a while now, but I still use it all the time just due to its sound. There are a number of elements making up this goal explosion. There is a bass drop, followed by a shing, which blends in nicely with the sizzle of the sparks. Although I've heard arguments from the sound community, and anyone who watches trailers really, that bass drops are overused, I think they will always have their place, and Quasar shows how reliable and effective they are. The high frequencies here are also expertly done, with the sparks being very vibrant and lively. Speaking of bass drops always being effective, Supernova does Quasar one better and makes the entire goal explosion one giant bass drop. It is bold, full-bodied, without any bitterness in the high mids. I like how the thickness of the sound kind of evolves over time, and there is also a nice little high-frequency accent that complements the visual distortion as well. For number 1 and 2, I really couldn't decide. I actually stopped making any progress on this video for a couple weeks because of it. I even wrote a script picking one, then changed my mind. In the end, there really is no wrong decision, but I did finally have to choose one. Number 2 is Singularity. The first impact is punchy but not harsh, and the reverse components have a velvety texture that create a nice sense of suspense. The final explosion is warm and rich, leaving a nice smooth finish across the whole sonic palette. I have a strong preference for an explosive low end in my gold explosion. Without it, it's very hard for it to make the top 10. I think Singularity actually edges out my number one choice in that respect. However, it was important to consider other aspects. And the best sound created in the last 3 years or so is Shattered. Part of the reason it took so long was because I was worried about bias on my part. Not only because it's the most visually appealing, but also because it's the only microtransaction I've spent $20 on. But I'm giving it the number one spot, I think due to its complexity and its success in execution. The initial impact has an interesting character to it. It's hard to identify exactly what the sound is made from. The movement as the ball impact pulsates across the goal is very well done. Like Singularity, it has a nice reverse suck-in moment, but it's the final release that puts Shattered over the top. Starting with a soft attack, the explosion contains a silky, elegant sprinkle of glass that showers the goal, which is as powerful as it is exquisite. Overall, a sound that truly supports and enhances what you see on the screen. So those are my top 10 sounds in Rocket League, 2nd edition. I hope you enjoyed this focus on the sound of Rocket League, and maybe I'll see you again in several years.